In the 1970s, station wagons ruled the road, but today we prefer crossover SUVs. You know, wagons, based on cars. What's not to like about wagons? They have both sport and utility. And in the 1970s, they were everywhere, from huge to tiny, domestic to import. From large luxury cars to small semi-sporty. A typical mid-sized station wagon in the 70s would seat 8 people. And if that wasn't big enough, you could upgrade to a full-size station wagon and have as much cargo room as a long bed full-size pickup. 2 and 4-door variants were available. Today, you're pretty much limited to luxury car brands. Brands like BMW, Mercedes, Audi. Really, if you want a reasonably priced station wagon, about your only real option is a Subaru. That is, of course, unless you don't mind sitting up a little bit higher. The crossover SUV. It's not as muscular as a truck-based SUV, doesn't have the cargo and towing capacity, but it does have better ride and handling, and in most cases still has the muscular look. Compared to a regular station wagon, sure, it's slower, doesn't accelerate as fast, doesn't handle as well, doesn't brake as well, it increases your likelihood of being in a single car accident, and costs more. So how does a modern crossover compare to a traditional station wagon? Let's take a look at a common mid-sized station wagon from the mid-70s, such as the Chevy Chevelle Malibu Estate Wagon, and compare it to something comparable today, such as the Chevrolet Traverse crossover SUV. And overall, these two vehicles are approximately the same size, although the dimensions vary greatly. Obviously, the Traverse is significantly taller. It's got a longer wheelbase. It's a little bit wider. It is almost a foot shorter in overall length. In two-wheel drive form, these cars are almost identical in weight. Of course, if you add four-wheel drive to the Traverse, something you couldn't get in the Malibu, you're adding at least 300 pounds. The seating arrangements in these vehicles are obviously significantly different, even though they're both considered 8-passenger vehicles. For example, the third row in the Traverse is supposed to be able to fit 3 across, where the rear seat in the Malibu was a two-seater that faced backwards and had access through the rear hatch. It makes up for this loss of seating by having a full bench seat in the front for 3 across. Of course, the center seat made things kind of snug for the driver, so it was best used just for children. And speaking of use for children, front passenger seat of the Traverse isn't usable by children. Due to the restrictions of airbags, there are weight and age limits on who you can put in that seat. As far as powertrain, the Malibu had a series of small block V8s that were available, backed by a 3-speed automatic transmission. Malibu did offer a 6-cylinder, but it wasn't available in the station wagons. In V8, you had sizes ranging to 5 to 6.5 liters, with horsepower ranging from 115 to 175. The only option in the Traverse is a 3.6-liter V6 with a 10-speed automatic, with 310 horsepower. Obviously, this gives the Traverse a significant performance advantage, where the Malibu did 0 to 60 in just under 13 seconds, and the quarter mile in just under 19 seconds. The Traverse does 0 to 60 in 7 seconds, and the quarter mile in about 15 and a half. Both of these vehicles can be used for towing, but the Traverse has a higher tow rating. Although its 266 pound-feet of torque is only 20 above the wimpiest engine that came in the Malibu, the 245, where the big engine in the Malibu, the 6.6-liter small block 400, had up to 305 pound-feet of torque. And the Malibu had a full frame, which means it's a simple set of spring helpers away from actually being a better tower than the Traverse is. So, is the Traverse a better vehicle than the traditional station wagon? Well, it gets a couple more miles per gallon. It's significantly quicker It isn't quite as versatile as far as passengers, but does have a little more cargo space. And if you figure in inflation, well, it is significantly more expensive. But it's also more expensive than a comparable wagon today, which is still arguably a better vehicle. For those of you that have made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. And you may have noticed that there was some variations in sound and lighting. I have been experimenting with some new equipment and there have been teething problems. So thank you for bearing with me, and hopefully things will be a little smoother in future videos. And don't forget to like and subscribe.